Imagine a chess game, but instead of a board, there's a vast global map. Instead of 2 players, there are nearly 200. And instead of pawns and knights, there's economics, military power, cultural influence, and political strategy. This, in essence, is the complex and intriguing world of foreign policy. Foreign policy, simply put, is a nation's strategy in dealing with other nations. It is the decisions and actions taken by a nation to achieve its national objectives in its interactions with other countries. It's like a nation's game plan for navigating the global arena, protecting its interests and projecting its influence. Think of it as the GPS guiding a country's relations with the rest of the world. Just like a GPS, it requires careful planning, constant updates, and sometimes quick recalibrations. But instead of avoiding traffic jams or finding the fastest route, foreign policy helps nations navigate international laws, global conflicts, and shifting alliances. Foreign policy isn't just about high-stakes diplomacy and international treaties, it's also about the economy, security, human rights, and even the environment. It defines a nation's stance on these global issues, dictating its actions and reactions on the international stage. Scene script. Take, for instance, the Marshall Plan after World War II. The United States gave over $13 billion in economic aid to help rebuild Western European economies. The aim? To prevent the spread of Soviet communism. This was a clear example of a successful foreign policy that combined economic tools with strategic objectives. Contrast this with the US intervention in Vietnam, which is often viewed as a failure of foreign policy. Despite heavy military involvement and immense resources, the United States failed to achieve its objective of preventing the spread of communism in Vietnam. These examples illustrate how foreign policy can influence world events, shape nations, and impact lives. They show that foreign policy is not just about what happens in far-off capitals, but about issues that matter to everyone. Peace and war, prosperity and poverty, justice, and human rights. Foreign policy can be influenced by a myriad of factors, from a nation's history and geography to its culture and values. It can also be shaped by international dynamics, like the balance of power among nations, global norms, and international institutions. But it's not just about the big picture. Foreign policy can also have a direct impact on individuals. It can influence the prices of goods in the supermarket, the news on your feed, the safety of your neighborhood, and even the air you breathe. Remember the chess game analogy? Well, diplomacy is the skillful maneuvering of the pieces on that board. It is the art of negotiating, persuading, and influencing other nations. It's the delicate dance of advancing a nation's interests while maintaining peace and respecting international laws. But like any strategy, foreign policy has its limitations. It must contend with unpredictable events, complex international dynamics, and the varying interests of other nations. It can be a delicate balancing act, requiring both strength and subtlety, patience and decisiveness. So next time you read a headline about a diplomatic breakthrough or a trade agreement or an international conflict, remember that behind these events is the intricate and fascinating world of foreign policy. It's a world that affects us all, and one that we can all strive to understand better.